Welcome back to the Nourishing Women podcast, your go-to podcast to get your period back and get pregnant. I'm Victoria Myers, your podcast host, peer recovery specialist, fertility dietitian, and owner of the virtual coaching practice, Nourishing Minds Nutrition, where we work together to restore your fertility. Now, today we're going to have such a fun conversation on 13 easy ways to regulate your nervous system and what that has to do with your fertility. First, though, before we talk about that, I want to let you know something that is so exciting, and it's our annual Black Friday sale. We only offer sales one time a year, and this is it. And it starts this coming Monday, November 17th, and ends on Monday, December 1st. So we are offering for a $400 off code with the code Black Friday, our Fertility Clarity Package, which means you can grab yours for only $550. That is such a steal considering what you're getting in the Fertility Clarity Package, which is a root cause investigation, including comprehensive labs, as well as a customized roadmap for the next steps you need to take to get your period back and get pregnant. If you know that you are ready to take next steps so that you can make sure that you are pregnant in 2026 and you can hold your dream baby in your arms this time next year, this Fertility Clarity Package is your next step. Again, it goes on sale this coming Monday. There are only 10 spots available. And what is just as exciting is for the first 5 who purchase, they will get a free bonus call with yours truly. All the details you need to purchase and grab your very own Fertility Clarity Package will be included in the show notes. With that shared, let's get to today's episode. So like I said, we're talking about 13 easy ways to regulate your nervous system. And I think first and foremost, let's just start with what exactly is the nervous system? Because if you've been in the wellness or the holistic space or the fertility space for some time, you have certainly heard nervous system regulation come up. There are multiple types of nervous systems in your body, but when we're referencing nervous system regulation, what we're talking about is the autonomic nervous system. Now, this nervous system is what controls so much of the systems in our body, and it's unconsciously controlling these bodily functions and systems like your breathing, your heartbeat, digestion, metabolism, and even plays a role in hormones, which we're going to get into in today's conversation. So when it comes to the autonomic nervous system, it controls the 2 types of modes of basically activation of our nervous system that, again, we often think of when we think of the term nervous system, and that's your parasympathetic or your rest and digest, and your sympathetic or your fight or flight response. These 2 modes are modes, and I'm going to put a graphic here so that you can kind of visualize this. You want to think of it like a balancing act. You want to be appropriately responding between rest and digest and fight or flight consistently, regularly throughout the day when appropriate. And of course, we want to be in rest and digest the majority of the time. And what you'll hear me say a lot in this episode is my people tend to really struggle to ever be in rest and digest mode. They're stuck in fight or flight for many different reasons, which we'll talk about kind of ways to get out of that today. But we also do want to be able to move into fight or flight when appropriate too. We don't want to get stuck in freeze mode, which happens after chronic burnout when the adrenal glands have produced so much cortisol that they simply cannot keep up anymore. And you now have such a low state of cortisol that you're now stuck in freeze mode. Again, it's a teetering act between the 2. So when we think of nervous system, you really want to think of safety. We need to help our bodies feel safe enough to turn back on the ovulation switch between your brain and your ovaries so that you can create healthy hormones and allow your body to not only cycle and ovulate again, but of course get and stay pregnant. In your nervous system, it is such a vital part of helping your body to feel safe again. And I think first and foremost, we just need to kind of acknowledge the elephant in the room of why you struggle with nervous system dysregulation or dysfunction. And that's because of the way that you live your life. And I'm saying that with so much love and compassion because I was you. I get you because I have been in your shoes before. Perfectionist, type A, overachieving, high stress. You live on the go 24/7. You live according to your to-do list, don't you? You have a very hard time with not being productive. You can feel really guilty if you're not productive. You cope with your anxiety by doing more. You use exercise to cope with your emotions. You don't know what's to do with stillness. You find yourself even fidgeting when you're trying to be still or relax and watch TV. People-pleasing, perfectionism, they're all a part of how you have identified yourself. But part of the work of healing your fertility is recognizing that parts of that may be serving you and we can use that to our benefit, but other parts of that are no longer serving you, and we really need to let go and allow for nervous system regulation and safety in the body, trust in yourself, and really allow for stillness and pause and taking moments throughout the day, which you're going to hear me say a lot today. And listen, I know that wired and tired feeling is really hard to escape. It's kind of this like how you've done life your entire life. I do want to say here, I don't think it's your fault. I think it's just the way that we have adapted, specifically as women in a world that applauds hustle and ignoring our bodies. But it is something we are going to have to address as we are working to get your hormones back in line and to restore your fertility, okay? And as speaking as someone who's been in your shoes before, this type of way of living with more nervous system regulation, I'm going to give you today 13 very easy ways to regulate your nervous system more on a daily basis. I promise it will make you feel better in your body. It will make you feel stronger, more energized. It will make you feel safer and feel trust in your body. The act of trying to conceive, the intimacy component of getting pregnant will feel so much easier for you, and you will also be more productive. I promise you, when you can actually allow for regulation of your nervous system throughout your day, you can actually do so much more in the time that you are on. So let's get into it. We're now going to go through these 13 easy ways to regulate your nervous system so that your body can know it can move appropriately again between sympathetic and parasympathetic, or that fight and flight and rest and digest. So number one, the first thing we want to prioritize is time outside and appropriate sun and light exposure for circadian rhythm. Now, next episode on our podcast, we are going to have expert Jillian Greaves on the podcast to discuss everything you need to know about circadian rhythm. So if this is a new topic for you, get excited knowing that we're going to dive deep into the conversation in 2 weeks' time. But for now, what I want you to know is that we all have a 24-hour clock in our bodies, and it is affected by light exposure. Our cells have sensors that tell them when it's go time for processes, including hormone release. Think your sex hormones, your stress hormones, your thyroid, your melatonin, and it's all told to your body via light exposure. So what we want to do as best as possible, something Jillian says in the episode, and I'll just reference here because it's so good, is tools, not rules. So we want to use these tools of sun exposure as best as we can, and of course not beat ourselves up when we can't do it perfectly. But the idea with circadian rhythm support is to mimic the sun. When you wake up in the morning and if the sun is down, we want to block blue light exposure. Blue light specifically tells your body it's afternoon, and that can be very dysregulating to your circadian rhythm, therefore dysregulating to your nervous system. If you wake up 4 or 5 a.m. and you're immediately have all this artificial light at you through your phone, through TV, through the lights in your house. So we want to keep things dark when it's dark outside in the early mornings and in the evenings. And then once the sun rises, we want to get morning sun exposure as best as we can. Even 2 to 3 minutes counts. Personally, I eat my breakfast outside now, and it makes a very easy way just to get some downtime to give myself rest and pause to eat, but also to get that morning sun exposure. And then we also want to get afternoon sun exposure if possible. My favorite way personally to do this is to go for an afternoon walk after lunchtime or around the time of the day when I'm like desperately needing a break from work. So again, we want to mimic the sun. If the sun is down when you wake up, and in the evening, we want to do that in our household as well. And then we want to get morning sun exposure, afternoon exposure to the sun if and when we can. And to add to that, what do we do if the sun is down, in the morning or evening when we are awake? We just want to block blue light as much as possible. So that might be wearing those amber colored blue light blocking glasses. I just got like a $10 pair off of Amazon. That would be putting red light bulbs in your house where appropriate. We just added that in. That's like one of the things I did after talking with Jillian on the podcast. They are downstairs in the lamps in our living room as well as upstairs in our bedrooms. Not everywhere in the house, but just the places that like we really hang out the most. And also salt rock lamps would be a great thing to do. Maybe candles to set, a fun mood. And yes, it did take a second to get used to the red light bulbs. I'll be perfectly honest, but it's honestly super vibey and I'm totally enjoying it now. It's just a little bit darker and you just have to get used to that. But again, you will notice the difference. One of the things I've I've noticed the most, especially from more morning sun exposure, is how good I sleep at night. It has made that big of a difference. Again, number one, what we're going to first do to regulate our nervous system is circadian rhythm support. Okay, up next, number two, no noise, naked walks. Walking is okay to do in period recovery. This is probably the main thing I have my clients do. About 30 to 60 minutes a day or no more than 10,000 steps a day is appropriate in period recovery. And especially when we're doing slow, intentional walks, this can really help you mentally, but also physically to metabolize your stress levels and kind of like discharge that stress energy. I love specifically no noise, naked walks, because naked implies like that you're not wearing sunglasses. And again, that helps with the appropriate sun exposure that we want to get. But the no noise, I think, is so helpful, because think about your day each day. How much time do we spend listening to podcasts, listening to music, watching TV, getting social media, like listening to things on social media? Like, we're just constantly inundated with so much information and so much noise. Just time outside with listening to nothing, maybe spending some time with your thoughts, it can be transformational, I promise you. And again, I personally do this walk most in the afternoons when I'm kind of at that point in the workday where I'm like, oh my God, I've done a million things. My mind is spinning. I just need 20 minutes just to like not think about anything and not have any noise, nothing. It's so enjoyable. I cannot wait for you to start doing that. Okay, so far we've talked about circadian rhythm support, no noise, naked walks. Number three, reduce multitasking and take time in between each task. Now, this one, I know it seems so basic, but that's the thing with nervous system regulation. Oftentimes, the most basic, mundane tasks are both the things that we avoid, but they're the most beneficial. I want you to become more aware of how often you're so stressed when you're multitasking and you get in that like frazzled state. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I gotta do this and this. And honestly, we know multitasking is super unproductive, but more specifically, we know it's very dysregulating to our nervous systems. And trust me, as a mom of two, I get that this isn't like 100% avoidable, but as best as we can, try to just do one task at a time, and even orienting between each task, spending 1 to 2 minutes noticing your surroundings, letting yourself mentally prepare for the next task, again, without all these multitasking thoughts in your head, will be so incredibly helpful. So number three, again, is reduce multitasking and take time orienting in between each task. Number four is deep breathing. Again, another powerful, natural, helpful, free tool that we can all do, but we all tend to not prioritize it in our day-to-day lives. Like, again, in similar way that I want you to bring awareness to how often you multitask and kind of get in that frazzled, anxious state. How often are you doing very shallow chest breathing on a day-to-day basis? Instead, we really want to focus on deep belly breaths and giving yourself periodic times throughout the day where you are just simply sitting and breathing and allowing for really deep breaths to happen. This is especially so incredibly helpful, not only in regulating your nervous system, but boosting oxygen flow, recentering your mind and body, and improves vagal tone, which further supports your body's ability to get into rest and digest when appropriate. And even more, deep breathing is going to help to lower cortisol. My favorite place to put deep breathing into my day is before meals. So just taking a couple minutes before I start eating to really do some deep belly breaths, just get centered, grounded, to regulate myself, get myself actively in rest and digest before eating. When I talk about deep breathing with clients, my two favorite forms to recommend if they're looking for specific types of breathing, because if you're new to deep breathing, that can be really helpful to have kind of like a way that you go about doing the deep breathing, is box breathing and alternate nostril breathing. Box breathing is inhaling for the count of 5, holding for the count of 5, exhaling for the count of 5, and then holding for 5. You can kind of see the box method of it. And then alternate nostril breathing is holding your nose like this. If you're watching this on YouTube, this will make a lot more sense, but you're going to inhale, hold, and then exhale. And those can be 2 easy ways to get started with deep breathing. Let's clear something up right here, right now. You are not broken. You are not behind, and you are not the exception. The number one reason I see women stuck without ovulation, periods, and unable to get and stay pregnant is because they haven't addressed the root cause of what is causing their missing or irregular period. When we test for it and we give your body everything that it's been missing, things shift fast. Like Lauren, who 2 weeks into her fertility cleared package saw her estrogen levels triple, and Randy, who within 1 month of receiving her fertility clarity package saw that positive pregnancy test she'd been dreaming of. Again, use the code Black Friday at checkout for $400 off now through December 1st or until all spots are filled. Now let's get back to today's episode. Okay, up next in our 13 easy ways that we are going to regulate our nervous system is tapping. Tapping, also known as emotional freedom technique, is a way of healing that basically combines gentle tapping on specific meridian points in the body. It's actually the same points that you would use for acupuncture or acupressure, and speaking out loud emotional or physical challenges you're facing. And the idea is that basically unresolved emotions or stressors can disrupt the body's energy system, therefore affecting your nervous system. If you're new to this idea of like your emotions can get stuck in your tissues, you definitely need to read the book, The Body Keeps the Score. There's tons of research to support this. I promise it is not woo-woo, it is real. And what you do when you are tapping is you are stating something that you are facing. Even though I feel terrified to eat more, I know my body needs fuel. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. As an example, there's so much information about tapping on the internet that you can read more about if you want to learn more. And again, the book, The Body Keeps the Score, is a great way to learn more about how stress and unresolved trauma can affect how we physically feel in our bodies and the pain and the disorders and the diseases we develop. Okay, number 6, time blocks without your phone. Again, this seems basic, but how often do we avoid these most basic habits that can truly help you feel better and regulate your nervous system? Our phones are a constant dopamine hit. While this can feel good, it's obviously not regulating to our nervous systems. And obviously, it goes without saying that like it's impossible to be without our phone in today's world. The goal wouldn't be to like be a phoneless person, but just taking breaks. Personally, for myself, I have a rule with myself that I don't get on my phone before 8 a.m. or after 8 p.m. so that we have 12 hours without it. And then also what I'll do is I will put my phone on Do Not Disturb periodically throughout the workday when I'm in deep concentration tasks where I want like 1 to 2 hours of no distractions at all. I'm trying to concentrate on a very specific task, and that also helps just to kind of give myself rules with my phone of basically when I can check it. Okay, up next, number 7 is therapy. You knew I had to put it in there somewhere. If you're a client of mine, you know how big of an advocate I am for therapy. And I started going consistently to therapy about 2.5 years. I started at like 37 weeks pregnant with Anna because of something that happened in our personal lives. And I have stayed with it monthly, go once a month ever since. And it truly, I mean this, has changed my life completely. Personally, for me, I think it's helped the most with nervous system capacity, so like my stress resiliency, meaning that I don't get in a state of panic or overwhelm as quickly as I once did, and also helped me to have the ability to sit and be with my internal sensations and kind of noticing like when my hands tingle or my chest feels heavy or my stomach feels like angst. What does that mean? And what does that mean? I need time to like be with myself and learn what is my body trying to tell me. I personally, I'm sure this is true for so many of us, but personally had so many emotions that were never ever dealt with and were really low-key affecting every decision I made in my life. I'm so grateful I confronted my fear of going to therapy and just started freaking going, because now I can see so clearly how a lot of things that happened in my past and kind of how I dealt with past experiences was showing up in my present day-to-day life and affecting my future. Therapy for me is just a non-negotiable for health, for nervous system regulation, for coming back to myself and realizing how I really want to act and respond in situations. Again, that stress resiliency of like, okay, like that's actually my like 10-year-old self acting out there. Like me as the adult, I know how to handle this. I can trust myself. I've got my back. For myself, I just kind of view it as it's this non-negotiable in my life. If I want to be the person I want to be for my business, for being a mom, for being a wife, for being a friend, it is a non-negotiable for being my best self. I don't usually look forward to it, but I always, always, always feel so much better afterwards. Personally, my therapist uses Internal Family Systems, IFS, and I love it, and it's been so incredibly helpful for me. Okay, number 8, to get back to things that we can all do on a daily basis that are mostly free, is eat first thing in the morning. Eating first thing in the morning is one of the most powerful yet underrated ways to regulate your nervous system. It helps to lower cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, which is naturally the highest when we wake up in the morning, and also helps to balance our blood sugar levels, and again, tells your body that it's safe, that there's food, and that your nervous system can be in the rest and digest mode. If we start our mornings off instead with your cortisol is already the highest in the morning, but then you're drinking black coffee and you're going for a HIIT workout and you're fasting for as long as possible, can you see how stress activating that could be to your body and how much you would be in fight or flight? Instead, we really want to start the day off calm and grounded, eating breakfast within 30 to 60 minutes of waking. And if you are someone who drinks coffee before breakfast, I feel you. I struggle with this too. This is still an area where I need to improve, but I have not yet done it. So the way I kind of go about that then is I just make sure I put some type of fat or protein source in my coffee, just so that it doesn't exacerbate my cortisol levels even more. So whether that's collagen, whole milk, half and half. Right now I've been doing a lot of coconut, like full fat coconut in my coffee. So just something that helps just to stabilize the blood sugars, lower the cortisol, because I love my coffee and I'm not yet ready to not have that first thing upon waking. Okay, number 9 is eating consistently throughout the day. Yes, this regulates your nervous system so much. It also supports your circadian rhythm. Again, in 2 weeks' time, when we'll do that episode, you'll learn that sleep, eating consistently, and sun exposure are the 3 ways that we can support our circadian rhythm. And mainly what eating consistently throughout the day does is that it tells your body it's safe. One of the ways it does that is through following your impulses. This is actually a good thing. And when we follow our impulses, like the need to go to the bathroom or the need to eat, that tells your body that it's safe. Number 10 in easy ways we can regulate our nervous system is eating enough. You know, I had to include this one in here. Eating enough, not just eating healthy, is the foundation of hormone healing and fertility. When you chronically undereat, your body just doesn't feel only hungry, it feels unsafe. One of the key hormones impacted by this is leptin, which is produced by body fat and signals to your brain that you're well fed and have enough energy on board for non-essential functions like your hormones and reproduction. But when leptin levels are low, your hypothalamus gets the message that food is scarce, and it downshifts everything, including your metabolism, puts your body into fight or flight, nervous system, it depletes nutrients, it affects your functioning of your hormones and the ability for your body to create hormones, therefore ovulation, period. And of course, for you personally, that's what's causing your infertility right now. But when you consistently eat enough, especially carbs and fat, this raises leptin levels, sending a powerful signal to your brain that it's safe to ovulate, cycle, get, and stay pregnant. And of course, in context to today's conversation, relax and get into rest and digest mode. So obviously food just makes a huge difference, and never underestimate the power of eating enough and eating consistently and eating first thing upon waking and helping you to get your period back, get and stay pregnant, and just live a life where your nervous system is regulated consistently on a daily basis. Okay, number 11 and 13 easy ways to regulate your nervous system is exercise, but not just for you right now, high intensity during fertility times. I would even argue for anyone who's actively trying to get pregnant, even if they don't have period loss, hypothalamic amenorrhea, or hypothalamic dysfunction, I think gentle, restorative, or moderate forms of exercise are best for fertility. So that may mean yoga, Pilates, bar. Maybe you are strength training, but you are taking it a little bit slower and easier in between sets and avoiding doing circuit style workouts in between your sets. A lot of walking, as we've already referenced, is so incredibly helpful to your nervous system. And then just make sure with exercise, yes, it is regulating to our nervous system when it's done in an appropriate manner, but make sure we want to take plenty of rest days. I'm talking 2, if not 3, to make sure that you are getting the needs of rest and safety for period recovery specifically. Okay, up next, number 12 is test your minerals and replenish mineral stores. We do this through a hair tissue mineral analysis or an HTMA. And the first thing that you see whenever you see an HTMA test is your metabolic type. This addresses the state of your nervous system dominance. Are you slow or fast? Meaning, are you in the rest and digest or potentially even freeze, depending on where you are, slow 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then are you in fast or fight or flight? And again, there's fast 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it allows your body to see kind of what nervous system dominance it's in. So we can actually test for nervous system functioning. We actually do this in a few different ways. I'll get to that here in a second. Right now, we're just referencing minerals. But again, it allows your body to see what state your body prefers and allows us to make appropriate mineral recommendations. This is calculated specifically by looking at your calcium and phosphorus ratios. And I'm just going to leave it at that and let our HMA functional lab expert at the practice, Rachel, take it from there. She's going to come on the show in December and give us all the details about HMA, including this. Okay, up next, the 13 easy way that we're going to support regulating our nervous system is to get support to reduce food guilt and body anxiety. For my people, this is so much of the dysfunctioning of your nervous system. I mean, I really want you to think about how much day-to-day stress you have as a result of the constant thinking in your head of, did I just eat too many calories? What if I can't exercise all this off? I'm scared I'm going to gain weight. Combining this with your constant worry over period loss and why it's happening, how to fix it, and when am I going to get pregnant? Like, it's a no wonder you feel dysregulated. Our 101 program focuses on testing, expert lab analysis, custom protocols, fertility, nutrition, and supplementation support. But if you've watched your training, you know that we focus on food and body image coaching just as much, because for our people, this is such a huge component of why your nervous system feels so dysregulated. And this has to be part of your customized plan to get your period back and get pregnant, because it is a huge part of your daily stressor, therefore affecting your nervous system that affects your hormone production and fertility. Again, if your body doesn't feel safe, it's going to be very difficult to get pregnant. Okay, I know we've already done 13, but I wanted to include one bonus one, which is test and don't guess. Since so much of your daily stress and overwhelm is because of your concerns over what's going on in your body, how to get your ovulation back, how to get your period back, how to get pregnant, this is going to be so helpful for you, because I know you are a data-driven kind of person. Like, you want to see what's going on in your body. Imagine how stress relieving that would be to know, oh, this is exactly what's going on in my body. I know my metabolism type. I know my nervous system dominance. I know what key minerals are being lost due to the high stress. I know what's going on with my cortisol patterns. That's something that we test for in our practice. So we assess nervous system functioning not only through an HMA, but also through a stress profile test. We also assess adrenal and thyroid function and hormones, because again, depleted hormones are going to be a result of a dysfunctioning nervous system too. And we put all of this into a customized plan so that we know exactly what to do to not only get your period back, but to restore fertility, regulate your nervous system, and allow your body to feel safe enough to get and stay pregnant. So I just wanted to include that, because it's not like you have to just kind of like wildly guess and DIY what to do about a dysregulated nervous system. If you're someone listening to this episode and like, dang, I don't do any of these things, or I know for sure that I'm just in a constant state of nervous system dysfunction, let's not just guess at that. Let's test for it and make appropriate recommendations and protocols based off of what we find. If that sounds like something that you are interested in learning more about, one of the ways that we can do that is through our Fertility Clarity Package, where we offer root cause investigation through comprehensive labs and a hair tissue mineral analysis. And you can even add on a stress profile test to your Fertility Clarity Package, and then we'll create a custom roadmap for you based off of exactly what we find. As I announced in the very beginning of this episode, starting next Monday, we're opening up our annual, only time of the year we ever offer a sale, Black Friday sale for our Fertility Clarity Package. You can use the code Black Friday for $400 off, but there are only 10 spots available. And for the first 5 who purchase, you can get a free bonus call with me. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you found it so incredibly helpful and informative, and really gave you inspired actions that you can start today, literally right now, in better regulating your nervous system to restore your fertility moving forward. 2 weeks time, we're going to have Jillian Greaves, expert on circadian rhythm, on the podcast to get into the nitty gritty of that way you can support your nervous system even more and support your hormone health even more. Until then, note that a nourished body is a powerful one. Bye, y'all.